Good evening, everybody. Welcome to. Whoops, what's going on here? Well, we whoop-de-doo this and get rid of that for right now. Welcome to Masterworks. Tonight we are going to do Moonlight, the magic of Moonlight. We've been finishing up this month. A group of us, ragtag wild group of us, have got together online, starting with some Friday feedback as we went into lockdown. And we made a course out of it, and we're kind of finishing that course up, and we're doing that with some demos. And tomorrow's demo is going to be day 2 on the moonscape. I got day 2 of the portrait in the school with no audio. I think I got it down to about 15 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. You can check that out if you don't have time to watch the whole 2-hour link on YouTube. It is sped up, but you can see the whole process relatively quickly. All right, we got some fans. Claudia, ready to go. Good. Glad to have you here. Is it warm up there? It was warm here today. It is warm right now. And I probably shouldn't be talking about warm in front of Susan. She laughed me off the air. Hey, Susan. So let's go. All right, so we're going to bring in the iPad now. And we're going to switch around and maybe take me around. There we go. You know what? I could probably end up right over. I'll just quietly hang out over here. So tonight what I thought we might check out is all the variety we can get. Right? Moonlight isn't one color or one mood even. But you're going to see lots and lots of mood. But what I'd like you to do is try to think a little bit more abstract as we see these. And in particular, let's see, what are we doing here? Oops, where are my photos, not Procreate. So anyway, in particular, we should look at the light. There's the moonlight. And that light's picked up way in the distance on the distant water. And it grows when it hits that waterfall. And then it spills off, getting quieter and quieter until we have a crescendo that's held in with some rocks and some darks. And a couple of dots. All right, so there's one. And we've seen this one before, I'm pretty sure, in Masterworks. This is Emil Carlson. Again, a little different mood here. A little different mood. But again, what do we see? Where's the light? Well, obviously that's the light. But look at these little quote-unquote white clouds just getting a bit of light. There's even a branch over here that seems to be getting some light somehow. I don't know. All right, so light doesn't necessarily mean a bright white. Look how quiet those little quote-unquote whites are. And there's variety to them. Can you see that? Really nice. Really nice. And 2, let's see if there's ever a perfect circle around the moon. On most, say not, but some of them get away with it. Let's see if they get away with it and how. Okay, here's something a little bit different. Right, the moonlight in here's hidden. How do we know it's moonlight, though? How do we know that's moonlight? Well, would that look like that in the sunlight? Would you have a warm light that's contrasted with this really cool light coming from here? And that's how we know. You can even see light right there, the warmth. So that little bit of warmth helps. And so we see some of the ocean foam, quote unquote, as the lightest, coolest thing. And then it grows lighter and cooler up here, but we never see it. It's just implied. The light we see is coming from the cabin and then reflecting on the deck. So sometimes in these they do the light versus dark, or excuse me, a warm versus cool scenario. So in the last one we didn't see it, and in this one it is almost completely defined. Are you guys seeing how drastically these colors and values are changing? Well, it's as big as I can get there, but wow. What is making that look so bright? Well, the value next to it is a good deal darker, right? So that value that's next to that is key to making that appear so light. And then we skip across the water there, and that's it. That's it for this one, right? Those darks are pretty dark silhouette, and then you've got some releasing there in the background. Snow scene. Burr. Burr, 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 burr. But how effective is that snow taking on the cool and then the warm electric lights, showing some warm rock, the dark statue. So how many lights do you see in here? I actually kind of see three. One is just the glow of the snow. Right? That's appearing as a light. See that glow of the snow? And then when we come to this next section, we have electric lights. Do you see we got the big lanterns, and look at the small ones either glanting there in the background or around the railing there. And then those continue. Look as they continue all the way back there into the distance. And then what about this light? How is that shown? Right? Well, of course you've got the light of the moon, but the clouds in the sky. And then look how that moonlight is reflecting off the domes. Do you see that going back into space? And it's not everywhere, it's just on those three. Okay, so wide variety of the ways you can portray moonlight. Very dramatic. Yeah, that was drama, drama, drama. And not so much drama here. Why is that? Well, those values are closer together. There's not quite so much dark. The dark's not so harsh. But again, are we on that theme of our kind of cool moonlight versus our warm, either firelight or electric light? This is firelight here. Lanterns. You see that? Look, the stars in the sky are cool. And the lanterns are warm. Okay, and there's a whole, there's a run of it. You see this run? And then it spreads out here. Even by the cannons you can see some. Looks like there's a lot of activity in there. What's going on in there? Wow, and then something completely different again. Completely different again. But again, how is this being portrayed? Is it just the moon in the sky? Or does it need to hit something? Like water? Or even objects? Look how he showed that in the background, that moonlight hitting the side of those buildings. So he's disguised the moon just a little bit, right, by silhouetting a tree in front of it. But again, it's not just the moon. That light spreads through those clouds. You see how those shapes go? And then look at it hitting the side of the stone there. Little glints of light on the side of the stone. It's hitting somebody in the garden, hitting the cross. And then wouldn't you know it, just some orange light so that we make sure to know that this is cool moonlight outside. Right, look at that. The moonlight comes all the way over here. You see how he has it glinting and off the walls? Not even across all of them. Look on this arch. Compare the front edge of this arch to the back edge of the arch. Right, so we can be selective on how we do this. We're artists, we're allowed to make artistic decisions. You see, so there's light shadow there. Not very much light, it's very, very slim, but that little bit of light helps to divide you from the next section. The next section. The light on the stone separates all those trees. And then those lights in the background. Looks like mountains to me. So what's the key here? What have we done here? What have we done here? I think this is a Levitan, Isaac Levitan, if I remember right. Well, now most of this is more of a mid-tone, isn't it? And the colors are a little stronger. But then our light moon and look, that dark tree right there next to each other in the center. So many ways we can approach this. So too often we have in our mind that things are a certain way. And one of the things I was hoping to do tonight is to dispel that from your mind. Have you guys loosen up just a little bit. Blow your minds, if we will. Right? Why? Well, so that you can take in, be more open. Right? Go, oh, I didn't know we could do that. I didn't know that. Right? To let our awareness grow. Now, dramatic. Speak about dramatic. I'm just going to put your comment right here because this is boom. That's dramatic. Right? There's almost no color in here at all. And what do we see? Well, we've got the moon with the clouds. Hitting the mountains and the hills. And then look at it glinting off of these trees. These wild, twisty, curvy trees. So let's just pause for half a second right here, and let's have an actual little lesson. So for those of you in class, if that tree is our object, is the light of that tree darker than what's behind it, the background? Yeah. And is the dark of that tree darker than what's behind? Yeah. So you see, it can happen at all values, even these very, very low, dark values. Moonlight on the cemetery. Moonlight on the gateway to the cemetery, nonetheless. I don't know. That sounds like drama to me. A doozy. We went from dramatic to a doozy. Yep. This one's... That's a little spooky. That's a little spooky. How are we doing? Wow, we're really going through these. Good, good, good. I've got a bunch of them out here. Look how warm this is. Look how warm this is. And again, sometimes we have to be careful with images. But again, we've got the moon with the clouds receiving some of that light. And that moon hitting that water. Look how dramatically it hits that water. And gives almost a straight line through all those dark silhouettes. And then kind of glints and glows as it comes ashore. And right over here, that's just played against this little campfire. Or not so little campfire. That looks like a good sized little flame there. That looks like a good sized flame. So again, you've got the natural moonlight with the different ways man lights up the night with our warm, well, until lately, our warm lights. Now you can do any color lights you want. Same thing, same thing. Right, so even the moonlight's about the light. Can we follow the light? So let's look at this moon and the way it interacts with the clouds. So in other words, that moonlight isn't necessarily isolated. Right? Occasionally it is, but more often than not, clouds and things are around it, or something silhouetting it or hiding it. So it's just not this circle in the sky. Even glinting off the domes. We're going to go through some electric lights. And then look at that land right there. Look at that moonlight land. So there's some of it back here, but that is not going to compare to that. So going up and down, you have the moonlight. Then going across, you have the electric or the fire lights, the lamp lights. Right? And I hope everybody saw the reflections of the lamp lights on the water. If you just put a dot of lamplight in there with no glow and no reflection or hitting anything, it falls flat. It falls a little flat. Here's another kind of mysterious one. I love the mystery. Some people don't dig it. I always dug the mystery. But what do we have? Well, we have the sky and a few of the clouds. We got some limbs kind of silhouetted up there against it, and some leaves. Distant trees. Look what those negative shapes are doing in those trees. Before we get to the stag. And the stag's just barely suggested. And look, that's the reflection. That's it for that reflection down there. Doesn't that carry us so much more? all relative. It carries so strong because look how quiet. Look how quiet that is. It's not making very much noise. So if there is a little bit of a noise, it can be heard. Mysterious and beautiful. I agree. I agree. Wholeheartedly agree. And now here's kind of the opposite of mysterious. Right? We probably call this a little more romantic. I don't know, you got another word? But you got the architecture, you got the lights, the gondolas, the moon in the sky with the clouds. Again, not a lot of it showing, just a little bit. Clouds are silhouetting it. Some of the domes are catching, some of the ceilings, roof lines. And then it looks like there's a party going on there. I don't know. That looks like there's a party. You see that's... Look how that we come off of that. There's the boat that's, again, silhouetting in front of that. And then it looks like there's a banner or a costume or something hung up there. And then you have the lights, and all the lights kind of ticking off. Right? You see there's just a whole series of little lights there. And then look at the reflection on the water as well. All right, let's see what do we got. Oh yeah. So now here we go almost opposite. Take most all of the color out. Right, just quiet. To me, very quiet and peaceful. Very quiet and peaceful. So what light do we see in here? We've got the moonlight. Again, the clouds are receiving some of that. Oh, look at that glint right there on that water. And it continues to glint across the water, and then he brings it up onto the vegetation. Right? You see, he's literally left us a trail of light to follow. So we'll never get lost. So we'll never get lost. How much definition do you need? How much definition do you need in the areas where we're not looking? Right, but he's got the movement. They've got the movement. You see those sides are darkened a little. What does that do? Well, it holds that moonlight in there. It holds the moonlight in there. And then there's a little opening at the top up here. And then at the bottom, it's over on this side. Oh, look, I didn't even see that. There's a carriage coming around the bend. Did you guys see the carriage? Looks like a horse and carriage to me. Coming around the bend. Yeah. The values. Value, 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 value. Yeah, this one, I know I think we've seen this maybe a few times. But it's, these are so simple and so good. So simple and so good. Do you spot the light pattern in here? What's the light doing? What's the light doing in here? Well, we got our obvious moonlight, and then look how it's interacting with the clouds. All right, so that's just not a circle in the sky. And then look at that light on the ship out at sea, with all the light on the ocean and hitting the waves as they come into shore. And then we rest for a second before we have our electric light, right? Bouncing on the man's coat, on his shoes, on his other leg, on the ground, on the dog. See how beautiful that is? And then look at whatever is going on over there, man. That's causing a ruckus. That looks like a ship down to me. That does not look good. Does not look good. All right, let's see. Maybe we got time for one more. We saw a lot tonight. Okay, this is a good one to end on too. I love these peaceful moon paintings. And what makes this more peaceful than the last one? Well, look at the nature of the light. You see how it's just kind of one gradated thing, and then you have a couple little things here and there. Quiet. Versus the rigid, the rugged, the interrupted. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Ta ta ta. Right? It's important to get sensitive to that what makes quiet, what makes peaceful, what makes active. Right? Because in the end, it's all up to you. It's all up to you. When you're in front of that canvas, it's you against you, baby. It's you against you. But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Look how quiet that reflection is there on the water. You see those little series? The bird taking off. Looks like some driftwood or something there. And then we're going to compare it against this little light. And then he's even got repeated over here on the shore, doesn't he? Little bitty quiet. Just walking right off. Walking right off. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. Oh, Katie, well, you'll have access to it. You'll have access to it, I promise. So we'll be back in the morning for our demo. We have got day 2 here on the moonscape. So we'll be working on our own moonscape. Day 2 of the portrait right behind me. We've got that up on the school, and I've got the quick demo up with no audio. So if you just want to fly through it, or you can watch the whole 2 hours, however you like. Okay, appreciate you guys so much. And can't wait to finish this week up. I'm so glad we're finishing strong all together. It warms my heart. We had a nice little journey this year. And I hope many of you and many of you new ones will join us the beginning of August 2nd, for our 3-month painting course. It's going to be a blast. It's going to involve everything you've seen here. Demonstrations, masterworks, sketch club. And we're going to prep for painting and do a painting. So join us if you like. If not, we will catch you back here first thing in the morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. for our moonscape. Bye, everybody.